suttas, like in the Anapanasati Sutta, the mindfulness of breathing. The opening or beginning instructions is to find the locality. The Buddha never said must be in the forest. He said it can be an empty building. Yeah? So sometimes you have to look at geographical region. I believe India is very big. Not everywhere is forested. There might be some regions maybe a bit maybe barren, no trees or whatever it is. So I think it's got to be quite logical to be considerate to people with different climatic regions. Some places maybe icy region, no forest even. So you have to understand what is this seclusion. So there are two kinds of seclusion. One is the external seclusion, so anybody can hide in a room and seclude oneself. We experienced that in the lockdown, the MCO or whatever, circuit breaker. So that is physical seclusion. But having physical seclusion doesn't mean mentally one wants to have a seclusion. Yeah, the mind is like running all over the place, seeking this entertainment, seeking that entertainment. So the mind is not in seclusion. So ideally, the real seclusion is the mental seclusion. If the person knows how to detach every sense contact, they detach and they find real contentment, then that is the real seclusion. So even if they're in the forest, they know the skill to bring the mind back, have seclusion. Even in the city area, they also know how to cut this contact and come to seclusion. So that is the real long-term seclusion. Long-term seclusion. Of course, physical seclusion kind of have some benefits. It's easier, not too tedious to cut off or bring the mind back. If let's say in a karaoke environment tonight, it's a bit, you need more skill to kind of collect the mind. It's easier for the mind to run off if there is lots of disturbances. So the physical seclusion is a plus point, but we do not have to rely on external conditions to make us be happy. If we always need to rely on external conditions, then we forever won't be happy. The real peace is maybe outer space, total vacuum, then kind of like peaceful. But everywhere there's 8 winds. We talk about 8 winds. This fame, defame, praise, blame, gain, loss, pleasure and pain. So in life there will be all these things, the vicissitudes of life shaking us and affecting our minds. So we must learn this inner seclusion. It is not about physical avoidance. Yes, to a certain degree you must find your own moderation, but ultimately it is the skill to sort of cut off and bring the mind back together. Okay, so tonight, or rather right now, if you want, we can do some of this sort of eye-opening conditioning. I think one of the sisters mentioning eye-opening. Meditation doesn't always have to be closing your eyes. So sometimes when we are doing chores or doing activities, how many of you can maintain mindfulness when doing things? Only a few people. The rest is forget already, just busy do your things and forget about maybe impermanence or loving kindness. Okay, so this one is a skill we need to learn how to transition. So we, in between, what we can do now is do some eye-opening exercise. That means you don't have to close your eyes, you can open your eyes. And we can like gaze downwards. You want to start off easy, gaze downwards. And like the Buddha image, kind of gaze downwards. Okay, because you had the whole afternoon to sort of meditate, so now we do this open awareness exercise. That means we do not fixate. Do not fixate your attention at any particular point. Instead, we let the mind freestyle, freestyle. So the mind can sort of run through your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. Even if your eyes are closed, the mind will still run around through the senses. So what we are learning is understanding these 5 aggregates and the 6 sense doors, and learning how to unify the mind. So in meditation there are 2 styles. 2 styles. One is called samatha. Samatha means unifying the mind, and the other is vipassana. Vipassana means reflection of impermanence, gaining wisdom. So there are these 2 particular styles. So like one of the styles we've been teaching is this loving kindness, wishing all the sensations, all the contacts well and happy. So you can use that if you find your mind too scattered. If you cannot focus, then you start to wish all the senses well and happy. Wherever your attention goes, just wish it well and happy. Can maintain your eyes open, I don't have to close. So the attention can be towards the body, can be towards an eye object, whatever form, whatever sight you see, whatever sound you hear. So the running of the mind towards that particular object, that is the 5 aggregates. So there's the form aggregate, which makes of the 4 elements: earth, fire, wind, water, any kind of movement. That is the wind element. Any kind of density, hardness or softness, that is the earth element. Any kind of heat, that is the fire element. And any kind of moisture, that is the water element. So it can be inside the body or outside the body. There will be these 4 elements. In fact, the whole universe is made of the 4 elements. So what makes the mind scatter is that if you pay attention to an object and you start to develop greed and anger, then that is called scattering the mind. You are draining this mental power, draining the energy, scattering the mind. But if you have an object, it can be Buddho or loving kindness or compassion, appreciative, joy, gratitude, whatever, a positive theme that you kind of mentally reflect on, then that is recharging the mind. You are not letting the mind run away, get dragged away by the greed or the hatred towards that sense stimuli. So when we are watching the breath, it's more or less the same thing. It's just one point, but the concept is the same. We are not letting the stray thoughts or distractions to scatter the mind. But in this open awareness phase, a bit more dynamic. It's just like, for example, learning martial arts. Maybe the trainee, the martial artist, will start hitting the punching bag. So there's like one object. The punching bag doesn't hit you back. But in real life, it's not like that. Real life, It can be anything happening at any place, any time. So the defilements and clinging do not just happen at your breath. It happens through your 6 sense doors: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. So we must first learn to defend. So the blocking is the samatha phase. Learn how to block. Do not get injured. Do not scatter the mind. And once you think the mind is, or you think you have enough stamina, the mind is pretty charged up, or relatively charged up, then we can do the offense. So the offense is actually the insight, the vipassana. So every contact, we kind of like reflect on impermanence. So whatever you see, hear, smell, think, taste and touch, we let the mind freestyle. No need to purposely direct to one point. Our job is just to be like a GPS tracker. So every moment we just need to know, where is our attention now? Where is our attention now? Where is our attention now? So every moment, new formation, new formation, new formation, new area of awareness, new area of awareness, new area of awareness. So the mind on 5 aggregates, you just observe how it arises, how it passes away. So in the Chinese, the Zen tradition, they even come up with this interesting like an idiom. 生从哪而来，死往哪而去. Before the mind arises, where does it come from? And when it passes away, where does it go? So it's for you to observe the arising and passing moments. So we talked about the 5 aggregates earlier. So the form aggregate is the 4 elements. That is the obvious kind of sensations that encapsulate the entire 5 aggregates. So the mind cannot exist without the form. That's why in Buddhism we call it nama rupa. Nama means mind, rupa means matter. So mind, matter is together, nama rupa. You cannot have form only and no mind, and you can't have mind only and no form. And once the most gross or easy to detect 4 elements are there, and together we have the second aggregate called feeling. So feeling means pleasant, unpleasant or neutral feelings. So whatever sensation appears, sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't like it, sometimes painful, sometimes comfortable, sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes they're neutral. So these are feelings. And we have this thing called perception. Perception means the past kind of memories we use to try to cognize this current stimuli, try to make sense of this stimuli, past experiences, past words and labels we learned before. Like we call this earth element, we call this a fire element, We call this pain, we call this space, we call this hard, soft, whatever. So all this called perceptions, all the labels. And we have the fourth aggregate is called mental formation. Every time the mind jumps, something is formed, that's a new formation. And the fifth aggregate is called consciousness, the awareness. So we can be aware with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. So eye consciousness only arises depending on the eye and the eye object. And the ear consciousness can arise only when there's your ear organ, the eardrum, and the sound object. And so on and so forth, all the sense organs. And now our job is to see the impermanent nature of these five aggregates. Although there are five in one, you can do one at a time. Because once you do one, the rest of the aggregates doesn't mean they don't change, they also kind of change. So first we investigate the form aggregate. Wherever your attention is at, are the four elements permanent or impermanent? So this is used to help you in your investigation. Everything is real-time evidence. No need to purposely create or control the elements. And the whole idea is to check whether this craving, is it increasing or decreasing, to know whether you're on the right track. If let's say you get more tension, more stressed up, means you're chasing after something, then that's part of wrong view. If a person has a right view, then they should go in line with the Four Noble Truths. They should try to cease craving. So if your technique is correct, you apply the right thought, you apply the Noble Eightfold Path, then the craving should reduce. That means the mind should get calmer and not more agitated. And carry on with the four elements investigation, the form. Okay, then we can ask the second question. So in Buddhism we have the three universal characteristics: impermanence, suffering and non-self. So we ask the question on impermanence, then we ask the questions on is this form, the four elements, are they truly you? Are they truly self? If it is truly self, then you should have total control over these four elements. Example, I want to stay warm forever. Or I don't want any movement. Some people love concentration, so they don't want any kind of movement. They want the mind or the elements to be still, forever still. So if you try to exert control, will there be stress and suffering? So that's the third question. So if the technique is right, you apply the right thought, right effort, right everything, then the calming should be the result as a byproduct. One cannot just wish for the mind to calm and force the mind to calm down, and that will cause more tension and suffering. And the whole idea is keep reflecting on impermanence. The more we reflect on impermanence, then there's more detachment, the less stress. Every time we stop reflecting on impermanence, then the mind will naturally cling. So that's the inbuilt defilement. The mind will naturally cling on anything. Cling on sensual pleasures, stray thoughts, cling on concentration, cling on anything. So once there's clinging, then there will be followed by stress and suffering. Okay, then the next aggregate we can contemplate is the aggregate of feelings. So feelings is the pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings. Are the feelings that you observe real time, are they permanent or impermanent? So that's the first question. And the second question, are the feelings truly self? Are they truly you? If it is truly you or yours, then you should have total control of the feelings. Then you can tell your feelings, I want to have pleasant feelings forever. I don't want to have painful feelings at all. And because of this kind of wish, then that's why we have suffering, a lot of unnecessary agitation of the mind. So our job is to keep labeling impermanence, any feeling that you observe, any form that you observe, any elements you observe how they arise and pass away. So the observation is the right mindfulness of the body, and we have the right thought, which is the label impermanence. So in meditation, there's no such thing as no thinking. No thinking means sleeping. Or that's what we try to do before we go to sleep. We try to do nothing or think of nothing, and we let the mind drift until it gets tired and it falls asleep. And we can think, reflect now on the third aggregate. It's called perception. So perception aggregate is this, all the memories you have. Are they permanent or impermanent by themselves? The things that you recall, are they the same all the time? The things that you try to label, are they the same label all the time? And then we have the second question. Are these perceptions truly self? If these perceptions are truly self, then you should have total control over your memory data bank. You can pick any label you wish, any kind of memory, anything you learned before, and you should have no problem recollecting them. Maybe a few savants, these rare, special, extraordinary people might have this. Okay, then the next aggregate we can think of is the mental formations, and the fourth aggregate. And we can ask ourselves, are these formations, are they permanent or impermanent? Do they form at one place only and they stop there? Or they keep forming all the time at other places? And the second question you can ask yourselves, are these formations truly self? So in our previous session we talked about these mental formations is the same as karmic formations. So karma, there are two kinds. Either they are newly generated karma, that means you intentionally generate the karma. That means you choose where to place your attention, so there's intention involved, so there's creating new karma. And there's also old karma's ripening. That means you have no choice. The mind just want to pay attention to this certain spot or that certain spot. Whatever experience that you kind of experience right now, more or less is the old karma's ripening. if you let your attention in a relaxed state, and it's like, hey, why the mind choose to experience this painful feeling? Huh? Why does it want to choose to experience this pleasant feeling? Because all these are old karmas ripening. So you don't have much of a say. And you can sort of ask the third question. Will there be stress or suffering if you want to control these formations? You want to have total control of the formations. I don't want the mind to move around, just want the mind to stay in one place. Do not form at other places. Well, if you think you can go against the law of impermanence, then good luck to you. Okay, then we can think of the fifth aggregate, which is consciousness. So consciousness means the awareness or the attention. So earlier on we talked about the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind consciousness. So this consciousness has like a different spectrum, different quality. A person can see something with an angry mind, or see something with a happy mind, with a greedy mind, non-greedy mind, concentrated, not concentrated mind. So the consciousness or the mind state has a wide spectrum. And this quality of this awareness has like a wide spectrum. So we can ask the first question, is this consciousness, is it permanent or impermanent? Is the mind, is this consciousness always angry all the time? Is it always upset all the time? Is it peaceful all the time? And the second question, are this consciousness, are they truly self? Are they truly you? If this consciousness is truly self, that means you have total control over this mind, yeah? That means you can tell this consciousness to, I don't know, you want it to be pure forever. You can tell it to, I don't know, there's this thing called pure consciousness or enlightened consciousness. You can tell your mind, enlighten straight away. So if you try to impose this expectation, and if you get stressed, then that means that is not self. Okay, so now we are going to spend more time to keep observing and reflecting on these 5 aggregates. And whenever you think you're comfortable, if you want to change position, you want to try maintaining this reflection of impermanence in other postures, you can slowly do so. You can do it in standing posture, walking posture. The whole idea is maintaining this mindfulness of impermanence. If at the end of the retreat you can take away this skill, then it's considered successful. Every activity you can generate right thought, that means the retreat has not gone to waste. If you just come to retreat, okay, everything quiet, less duties, don't have to worry about deadlines and projects, then you think it's peaceful. Then once you go back home and all the work start to pile up, then all the peace is gone, then basically you're wasting time. So the reflection of impermanence in all sense contact is more like the battery saving mode. But if let's say your mind start to scatter too much, start to maybe have less right thought versus wrong thought, then there's more clinging and craving, then you can start to recharge the mind, recharge the battery, and use the samatha kind of meditation. Every sense contact you can wish it well and happy. So it's for you to find your moderation, how many hits you can take. If let's say you extend the mind, that means if you sort of observe too much, how much attention to detail can you cross the line? With your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, before the mind gets dragged away. So it's a bit like a sparring match, right? To get to understand the opponent and how fast or slow is the opponent, what's their reach, and what's your reach. So the Buddha also actually praised walking meditation. One of the benefits of walking meditation is that the peace achieved from walking meditation, or the concentration from the walking meditation, lasts longer. It's more stable, lasts longer. Because you're able to understand the workings of the mind, and it's not just restricted to sitting. So whatever style of meditation that we're doing is always going against the stream, which is our theme of this retreat. So the stream represents a craving. Once we do not apply skillful thinking, we are not rowing the boat against the stream, and we're just letting the stream of craving just carry the boat back to the end point. So our job is to find the source, find the origin, where sort of craving starts, or where craving, before craving starts. And that requires lots of rowing, rowing and rowing. It's a long stream, long journey. And the currents of the stream very much depends on the lifestyle we have, how much craving we have, how skillful or how unskillful our lifestyle. But regardless of the stream, we always emphasize on the right effort. That means continuous rowing, do not stop. The repetition have to be there. Keep reflecting on the right thought, impermanence or loving kindness.